Did you know that Jesus spoke in a certain way? It is in this way of speaking that certain codes were kept, which made him manifest everything he said instantly. Would you like to know what those codes were and apply them in your life? Join me to learn what the great Master of Masters taught us, and how you can apply it in your life right now to improve it in all aspects. There was a time in our era when time stood still, a time where the laws of physics and logic simply stopped working. Jesus did not abide by the laws of time and space. He transcended them. But to do so, he used certain sacred codes that he incorporated into his way of speaking and acting, which we can see today in the Bible and in many apocryphal Gospels. Over 1,000 years later, many still try to understand the secrets that this man brought us in order to emulate his steps. Talking about the great master is a topic I love, just as I also talk about Master Buddha, Master Tesla, or any being who came to this world to prophesy love, energy, and manifestation. This time, I want to focus on several details of the great Jesus that we may have heard, but perhaps paid very little attention to. I will show you 3 details of vital importance that you need to implement right away in your way of speaking to order your chaos, and I will do this by quickly reading 4 of his greatest miracles, and I want us to focus on a very important detail. Let's see if you can identify these details before I tell you about them. The first one we find in Matthew chapter 14, verses 3 to 21, where the Master fed more than 5,000 people. But what really matters is in verse 19, which says, "And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude." Here, the logical and limiting mind asks me, what food if there were only 5 loaves and 2 fishes? But everything, absolutely everything, is summarized in that small action where it says, looking up to heaven, he blessed the food. Now, Jesus did not look up to heaven to see the sky as we see it up there. I want to make that clear. His action was to connect with his frontal lobe, which is the direct connection with the 3rd eye. God is within us, not up there. The other detail, which concerns us regarding his words, is when he blessed something that did not yet exist. There were not 5,000 loaves of bread or 5,000 fishes, but he knew they existed in the quantum field of infinite possibilities and blessed their existence before they materialized. The second case is seen in John chapter 11, verses 41 to 44, where a similar pattern repeats. They took away the stone from where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." It was already done. What Jesus wanted had already been fulfilled before Lazarus even rose from his own tomb. And all this from gratitude, as we can see in this verse. The third case, actually there are more, but I don't want to make this video too long. We find it in Mark chapter 7, verses 34 and 35. Again, looking up to heaven, he sighed and said, "Ephphatha," which means, "be opened." With that, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and he began to speak normally again. So, we see the same style again, looking upward and audible words. There is a fourth case, but this is not from Jesus. It's a miracle of a type that until today is not well understood. This person was called Jabez, and it's curious how we come to this character. It's in 1 Chronicles where this character appears, only talking about a genealogical chain with a bunch of super boring names to read. But at one point, all that stops, and it talks about Jabez. In verse 10, it says, "And Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed, and enlarge my coast, and that thine hand might be with me, and that thou wouldest keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me." And God granted him what he requested. Isn't it curious that after that verse, the chapter continues with the genealogical tree it had been talking about? But what did those words of Jabez have to make him so prominent in this particular book? This is where I want you to take these 3 very important points for your manifestations. The first point always speaks of what you want to manifest in the present tense. Jesus did not tell Lazarus, "Tomorrow you will rise from the dead." Wait a little. He said, "Come forth." He did not tell the disciples that tomorrow he would bring bread and fish. He blessed the food and sent them to distribute it immediately. And Jabez, in his prayer, did something wonderful. He conditioned with faith to God, saying, "If only you would bless me and enlarge my territory." He knew that God could do that. He fervently believed in the fulfillment of what he wanted, never doubting it. He only said, "If only you would give me everything and never depart from me." So God, or the universe, said, "Okay, my king, you asked for it as truth should be. Take it." So take the second point, which I want you to consider. Take action in some way. Jesus told everyone to sit on the grass before blessing the bread and fish. He touched the ears of the deaf. He spat and made mud to heal the blind. He asked to remove the stone from Lazarus's tomb to continue with the miracle. He looked up to heaven, spoke. In short, he did something. He moved. He took actions, powerful things. It is in action that faith ignites, and all the other events begin to happen that will make your miracle occur. And it's curious that some actions were not necessarily related to the miracle. What does mud have to do with curing blindness, for example, or touching the tongue of a mute to make him hear again? That's why it's very important to understand that many times life will take us down paths we have no idea where they lead, but just keep acting and trusting. And the third point, this is the most powerful of all. Be thankful, thankful, and be thankful again. Gratitude is the key to all abundance. And do you know why it works? Because in the universe, there are no empty spaces. Everything in this third-dimensional plane has something. Even emptiness, dark energy, and dark matter make up 95% of the cosmos. By being grateful for something you don't yet have, you are sending a signal that it has already been fulfilled. But by the law of correspondence, that space must be filled or completed to maintain universal energetic balance. What you expose by being grateful, many times we do not understand the importance of gratitude, and in fact, we often overlook it. Don't do that again. Happy manifestations until next time.